My fellow Americans, this is Liberation Day. Waiting for a long time.
America's Liberation Day is here. Trump has actually implemented the reciprocal tariffs on many countries.
April 2nd, 2025 will forever be remembered as the day American industry was reborn, the day America's destiny was reclaimed, and the day that we began to make America wealthy again. Starting tomorrow, the United States will implement reciprocal tariffs on other nations. I call this kind reciprocal. This is not full reciprocal. This is kind reciprocal. Never forget, every prediction our opponents made about trade for the last 30 years has been proven totally wrong. And today we're standing up for the American worker, and we are finally putting America first.
He declared on April 2nd that a baseline tax of 10% on imports from all countries will be implemented, while some imports are exempt from these tariffs. Though for dozens of nations, a higher tariff was announced. These countries are among the dirty 15 countries that we were talking about yesterday, ones that run trade surpluses with the US. Now, this has triggered fears of a broader trade war. The highest tariff was imposed on Cambodia at 49%, Vietnam at 46%, then there were Sri Lanka and other countries, but China was at 34%. This brings the average US tariffs on all Chinese products at as high as 54% as per reports. So China will be the worst hit even if the reciprocal tariffs are lesser than Vietnam and other countries. Canada and Mexico are exempt from these tariffs. Instead, they will be tariffed at rates announced previously. Also, smaller consignments below $800, mostly e-commerce purchases, will be continued to be charged at the previous tariff rates. Coming to India, while Trump said Prime Minister Modi is a great friend, but he said that he's not treating America right. So while India charges US an average tariff of 52%, Trump said US would charge discounted reciprocal tariffs of 26% on India.
India, very, very tough, very, very tough. The Prime Minister just left, and he's a great friend of mine, but I said, you're a friend of mine, but you're not treating us right. They charge us 52%. You have to understand, we charge them almost nothing.
While Trump's announcement showed 26% as per an order by White House, it showed that the US is charging 27% tariff on India. Besides India, tariff also deferred for 12 other countries and 2 island nations. A clarification is still due from the administration on this. So now let's understand the impact of these tariffs. Before that, let's look at how these tariffs were calculated. As per a statement by the US Trade Representative, the tariff rates have been derived by first looking at the trade deficit that the US has with a country and then dividing it with the value of goods that the country exports to the US based on US Census Bureau data of 2024. Now, this then is divided into half, because Trump said that he wants to be kind while imposing these reciprocal tariffs. So that's why it's discounted reciprocal tariff rate. Now clear? Now coming to the impact. Tariffs will have both short-term and long-term implications on the Indian economy, trade relations, and currency markets. While the impact is less than other countries, Indian sectors will be hit by these tariffs, and they could be auto, pharma, and IT. Now, these are going to be impacted heavily as per experts. While auto and auto parts is exempt from reciprocal tariffs, there is a risk because there will be a 25% tariff on auto and auto parts effective from April 3rd for cars and light trucks and May 3rd for auto parts. Now, Indian exports of auto components to US is major, and Tata Motors has a big US market because of its JLR business. For Indian pharma, US is a significant market. However, the US administration has exempted some pharma products from the list of imports hit by reciprocal tariffs, so that's one relief. IT services is also one where India has substantial exports. As per some experts, Indian exports of steel, aluminium, and auto-related goods will face 25% tariffs that were announced earlier, while pharma, semiconductors, copper, and energy products are exempt from these tariffs though. But these sectors are also not very safe yet, because these will be tariffed at rates either already determined or soon to be determined by the president, as per the White House. A CD Group report says that chemicals, metals, and jewelry will be facing the highest vulnerability, while auto, pharma, and food products remain substantially exposed. The Ministry of Finance in India has issued a statement saying that India is assessing the tariff hike imposed by the US, and the impact on the economy is also being assessed. Now, over the past few weeks, India overhauled its tariff regime, reducing import duties on some 8,500 industrial items, including American goods like bourbon whiskey and high-end motorcycles made by Harley-Davidson. As per SBI research, tariff impact is likely to be limited in India, and several other brokerages like Goldman Sachs, Nomura, Morgan Stanley, and Fitch are also saying the same. Goldman Sachs says that India's gross exports to the US is one of the lowest among the emerging markets peers. And Fitch says that the low reliance on external demand makes it somewhat insulated. To Nomura, India is still one of the Asia's resilient economies in the ongoing trade conflict. With China being hit by massive tariffs and Vietnam too, India is kind of the next best alternative for manufacturing, because rates are lower than these countries in India. However, as per reports, India might benefit from a few supply chain shifts, but if the global trade environment turns volatile, capital flows could become unstable, inflation might rise, and ripple effects will catch up. And when you look deeper, if global trade conflict increases import costs, it will be bad for India, as it relies on imported energy, machinery, and sophisticated components. Now, coming to the stock markets. Stock markets across the world were in red, and Asian equities are also trading in heavy losses. Indian markets opened lower. Nifty fell around 0.3% during the day, and Sensex was down 0.35% during the day. Nifty IT was down around 4%. Nifty Auto was down around 1%. Metals was down around 0.5%, but Pharma was gaining up about 2.3% during the day at 1:30 p.m. Now, gold prices hit record highs in the international markets after tariffs were announced, as investors rushed to the safe haven. But for India, now all eyes are on a possible bilateral trade agreement with the US that might lead to some tariff relief. So all in all, it is not too good or not even a disaster for India. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.